another thing that we chant through our revolution is Bernie and beyond. Bernie and beyond, we believe that yes, we've got to get Bernie in the White House, but we also got to work beyond that. There is a lot of work we've got to do getting our endorsed candidates elected to office. So not just up the ballot, but down the ballot is just as important. So I do want to throw out a big thanks to Mariana Everson again for running. She'll be up later to speak. And we also got Joshua Collins here. He's running as well for Congress. I know that Rebecca wanted to be here, but she was already scheduled for something else, but we'll get her out here again. I'm sure she'll be here as often as possible. So we're real quick. Ready? Bernie and beyond. Ready?
Bernie and beyond! Bernie and beyond! Bernie and beyond!
All right, thank you. All right, so we're going to talk about the Green New Deal right now.
Yay!
We got Donna Albert, is a civil engineer, a mother and a grandmother who knows the enormous human cost we are putting on our future generations. Donna climate strikes every Friday for our kids' future at the Grays Harbor County Courthouse. Please give a big welcome to Donna.
Hi. I found out about climate change in 2007. I was at work and we saw a presentation that included Dr. James Hansen from NASA. And I came home to my husband and I said, there's something big happening. So turn on the news, we gotta watch the news tonight. And we watched the news and there was nothing about climate change. So I had him watch the news for the whole week until I asked a friend about it and they told me, well yeah, I've known about this for a long time. They don't cover it in the news. I didn't understand why. I eventually learned the fossil fuel companies had waged a well-coordinated campaign of deception, spending hundreds of millions of dollars on campaign contributions, lobbyists, advertising, industry propaganda to put doubt in the minds of the public about climate change and green energy. And they're still doing that. But huge storms like Maria and Harvey, out-of-control fires like those in California and Australia, droughts like those in Africa, and floods like those in the Midwest are making it clear to anyone who is paying attention that climate change is real and it is already here. And fossil fuels are becoming hard to defend. Air pollution kills 4 to 7 million people annually worldwide, mostly due to fossil fuels, causing asthma, cancer, strokes, and heart attacks. Pollution from fracking is ruining our water for farming and drinking. Here in Grays Harbor, we fought off the coal and oil trains because we knew these big fossil fuel companies saw our rural community as a sacrifice zone where they could pollute and endanger us without consequences. Defenders of fossil fuels say we need their exploding fracked oil trains and coal mines and fracked gas, that their products can't be replaced by renewables, but that is a lie. Not too long ago, Exxon was considered the most valuable company in the world. However, a couple of weeks ago, Goldman Sachs slapped a sell order on them, which is the equivalent of telling anyone who owns Exxon stocks that it's unlikely to recover value and they should sell it. Exxon has been borrowing money in order to pay big dividends to investors to keep them from selling their stock. What happened to Exxon? It's not mismanagement. The energy world is changing and investors can see it coming. Building and operating utility-scale wind and solar energy is now cheaper in many places than continuing to operate an existing coal or natural gas plant. The trend is that renewables and batteries will get still cheaper. Electric cars are expected to be cheaper than gasoline cars within a few years. Some companies, cities, and states are committing to 100% clean energy. But powerful special interests still stand in the way and continue to deceive the public and buy politicians. The transition off fossil fuels is inevitable, but it's not happening fast enough to save us from climate change. Scientists are telling us that developed countries like the US must cut our greenhouse gas emissions in half by 2030, only 10 years from now, and approach zero emissions by about 2045 to have a good chance of avoiding the worst effects of climate change. That's not much time to transform our energy systems and change the way we think and do almost everything. We need a quick transition off fossil fuels in order to keep our planet habitable for our children and my grandchildren. And that's why we need a Green New Deal. Green New Deal! And that's why I support Bernie Sanders for president, because I care about my grandchildren and their future. We must have a president who's committed to keeping fossil fuels in the ground. A carbon tax is a good thing, but it is not enough to get us to 50 to 70% cuts in emissions by 2030. Direct government action is required. We have the technology to make our energy with renewables, and it will cost us less in the long run than continuing to burn fossil fuels. Simply cleaning up our electricity, like we are in Washington State, pursuing energy efficiency, and electrifying almost everything, our cars and our home heating and our stoves, can get us to about 70% greenhouse gas emissions reductions in as little as 10 years. It won't be easy, but Bernie has a plan. I'm just going to read the headlines from his plan. Bernie's going to reach 100% renewable energy for electricity and transportation by no later than 2030 and completely decarbonize the economy by 2050. End unemployment by creating 20 million jobs needed to solve the climate crisis. Directly invest a historic $16.3 trillion in public investment toward these efforts, in line with the mobilization of resources made during the Green New Deal and World War II, but with an explicit choice to include Black, Indigenous, and other minority communities who were systematically excluded in the past.
That's right.
A just transition for workers. This plan will prioritize the fossil fuel workers who have powered our economy for more than a century and have been neglected by corporations and politicians, including a guarantee of 5 years of a worker's current salary and other assistance. Declaring climate change a national emergency. Saving American families money by weatherizing their homes, lowering energy bills, and creating more modern public transportation. Supporting small family farms by investing in ecologically regenerative and sustainable agriculture. Justice for frontline communities, especially under-resourced groups, communities of colors, Native Americans, people with disabilities, children, and the elderly. Commit to reducing emissions throughout the world. Meeting and exceeding our fair share of global emissions reductions. Making massive investments in research and development, and expanding the climate justice movement. Bernie recognizes that the special interests in power now will not go away when he's elected. He will need all of us to stand with him and make this change happen. We have a fight ahead of us, but we can win if we work together and if we remember what we're fighting for. We're fighting for our kids and our grandkids and our beautiful planet and all the creatures that live in it. Feel the burn.
Thank you again, Donna. Very powerful.